guys use this new format, and so I want to make sure she knows what's going on. So the comments will pop up over there. We
Okay.
can say hi. We're kind of watching that thing up there where it says 30 FPS and it's got a bunch of numbers.
Okay.
If that drops too low, that means that we usually lose people.
Means we're not doing good.
Yeah, what means our internet's not doing good. It doesn't do anything about
okay,
us, but our internet. So, hey, I just want to start off this morning. It's Monday morning. My throat is incredibly bad. I've been, like, literally just, like, popping in cough drops and sore throat drops. I think I was starting to get really better, and then Saturday it was kind of rainy and not figuring things out, and I think I cut grass, and then Sunday we had the event, and I was yelling.
Yeah, I got burnt.
Yeah, I think everyone did. That event yesterday, though, was so much fun.
It really was.
I had a blast at that event, watching the people play. You had the best play of the day.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I saved his life still, though.
But it was the best play of the day. So we got to play you first game.
Yes.
So I got to play you first game, which was fantastic for me. I think there's a picture. You put a picture of me striking you out.
That wasn't a strike.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was a strike.
No.
So, but you were running, right? So you had hit the ball, and you're running around bases, and I'm trying to get you out, and Leland had ran home.
Yeah,
like,
he made it. He got a run.
He scored a run.
But he stood on the plate.
But didn't move. Didn't move off the plate. He just stood there. And so the mom took a back seat to the competitor.
Right, I had to, because you were chasing me.
Because I was chasing you. So your brother was chasing you. So you had to run.
My sister thing kicked in before the mom.
Sister pushed mom out just a little bit.
Right.
Because you did save him.
I caught him.
You didn't let him die.
He just hit his bottom.
But you just blew him up at the line. Like, I wish we had a video. Like, it would have probably been, we would have went viral.
Sorry.
You'd have went viral.
Probably.
If we...
So my first response, though, after all this happened, like, I scooped him up. So he didn't hit his head. Like, he got his bottom and kind of scraped a little bit. But I caught him. And then I walked away. I gave him to actually Rachel.
Yep.
Because I was like, I can't calm him down. I heard him.
Yeah.
So I gave him to Rachel. And then I went back to the photographer that we had. And I said, please tell me you didn't get this on camera.
I wished he had. And we don't know because I haven't seen those photos.
He said he didn't.
I'm hoping somehow we still have it. But it was fantastic. It started off a great day. He ended up fine. Little scratches. Nothing too bad. But there was the bounce house there for the kids. Yes. They had a blast. Greg, for those of you guys that don't know Greg, he put that on and did so much of the work behind the scenes for the wiffle ball tournament, and he's going to get really mad at me because I'm going to bring him up on the stage Sunday and thank him. But it was a fantastic time, and even after putting everything together, right, he's running the events. I know he's tired. It was hot. He'd been out there all day getting the fields lined and doing that. He still took time to set up a mini field for the little kids to show them how to play and how to run the bases and everything. It was a great time. It was a really fun event. We got our shirts. We're going to start our new push for local. And so it was just a really, really good time out there.
It was.
And so now...
Oh, there's more people.
I know, there's a lot of people here.
Hi, Nancy. Hi,
Laura.
So
let's make sure because it starts to disappear.
Oh,
so did you say hi to Shirley?
Yeah, I said hi to Shirley and Christy.
Okay, and then Martha, Laura Compton, Nancy Gilbert.
Hi, Dad.
Yeah, James Moore's on YouTube.
Oh, and Mom.
Mom's on there too. So Zara and Andy Lee. So England, 55 today. So just turning 55. So happy birthday to you, Andy. I would sing to you. You don't want me to sing to you. Christy doesn't want me to sing to you. But good morning to you and happy birthday. Renee, good morning, and Caitlin Beasley.
Hi, Caitlin.
So not only do I love having my sister on anytime I can because she loves being on camera and loves doing that. She is. There is now that we're done with the fundraiser. Mm-hmm. We have a really big event happening next week. Yeah.
I got my bag.
So next week we have an event happening June 16th through the 19th is VBS. Tell us just a little bit about that.
So we're doing a construction theme this year, which I'm really excited about just because I like all that type of stuff. But anyways, and we have, I don't know, it's a little bit different this year because we're going to focus more on some of the teaching and some crafts actually this year. So we're actually taking a little bit of our game time out. But, we have one of our crafts here. But then it's going to be different because it's Wednesday night and then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And Saturday we're kind of turning it into a little bit of a block party. Afterwards we're going to have food and a lunch for the families to come back so we can kind of get to know some of them. And then we're going to have some different games outside. And we're actually going to have a race because the kids are going to make either a truck. I can't say it.
It's a Deuce Coupe.
There we go.
Hot rod or a Grand Prix.
Yes.
Racer.
And so they'll get to pick one of these when they come.
They're gonna get to paint these?
Yes, they're gonna build it, put all the wheels on it, and then they'll paint it one day. And then on Saturday we have a track and we'll actually get to race them. And so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about it.
So that's gonna be a great time. We're gonna be posting a lot of different things about it. I think we already put a post up this morning.
Yes.
About VBS. So share those posts when they come out. Let's get the word out. We're gonna have to order some more stuff, so we're excited about that because we ordered a certain amount and then we realized we're already at that amount, so we need to order more because we know people don't always sign up, and so that's okay. But let's go ahead and read from our passage this morning. And Kelly and I were just talking about this when the camera came on about the importance of this and the excitement that we have people like this, not only in our lives, but also in our kids' lives. So in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12, 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12, I have a special love for the two books of Timothy. That is why I named my son Timothy. And it was funny because, I love that Anna loved it. It was great. That was his name before I even was with Anna. That was going to be my son's name if I was blessed with a son. Because I love what Paul talks about with Timothy, what Timothy does and everything else. But this is what Paul is telling Timothy in chapter 4, verse 12. He says, "Let no one despise you for your youth." And that does not just mean, a lot of people take that and say, okay, you're young, so don't let people tell you you're too young. When you really start to study this out, I see that Paul's saying, don't let anybody worry about your age. Mm-hmm. Period. Just don't worry about an age. An age is not the thing to worry about. He says, but, this is the thing to worry about. But set the believers an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. And so, what Paul is saying is that it is so much, it is so much more important to worry about your example that you are giving to others than it ever is to worry about your age. Paul's saying it doesn't matter. So we were talking about this, right? Because we have our kids and they look at people, right? We knew we did too, but when we can easily see it in our kids' lives. You were telling me a funny thing. So your kids do something that my oldest daughter taught them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she taught them to flip people.
So they think it's great to go around and flip people, which again, not a horrible thing,
it's not
but
bad.
It's not, it's that, but that idea that they saw somebody they looked up to doing something, and so they started doing it. What's great is that it's not the only thing, right?
Right.
So you were telling me about one of the other things that your kids have been doing a lot during sermons and different things.
So when we first started having our kids come in for Fifth Sunday, I wasn't always sitting in service, and so they kind of just sat with whoever. But I specifically remember Emery sitting next to Karen, and she came back after church and was like, "Mom, look what I did," and she had written stuff on it. And I was like, "What does it say?" She's like, "I have no idea." And I'm like, "But why did you write it?" And she was like, "Well, because Karen was." She was like, "And so I thought it was important." And so she wanted to make sure she took notes. And they now, Cambry's at that age where she does it too. Emery knows a little bit more what she's doing, but she just sees people. She knows Anna takes notes and has all these pens, and Autumn and all her pens, and everybody. And so, but it's just that aspect of, even when they don't necessarily know what they're writing, they still know that it's important and that people that they look up to are doing it, so they have to be doing it for a reason. And so
and I would say that same thing we were talking about is funny because, I see Autumn taking notes, in her Bible and writing things, and she's got these post notes, and she's got one of those journaling Bibles that's got space on the margins. She's an artist, right? She's a great artist, so she draws these beautiful pictures to help her, things that she's thinking about when she's reading. And I know she does that because of what Anna does. Anna takes notes and is really, really good at taking notes. I've gotten better because I've watched them too doing stuff, and so I was good with highlighting and maybe underlining, but then I'd forget why I highlighted and underlined it, and so I'm learning now to put a little note to the side, like why I thought that was important. But all of them, and this is something we were talking about earlier, is all of them have taken some cues. Even Karen, right, from her mom, Debbie.
Yeah.
And Debbie being someone that teaches people how to journal and take notes. And then you were sharing with me something super exciting. So, because she's wrote a book.
Right. For kids, though.
Yeah, wrote a book for
kids.
There's
ones for adults, too, and for women.
So, I want, but right before, that's why I say it doesn't matter about the age. It's not just, I'm going to be very careful here. So, I'm not saying anything about Debbie. I'm saying she's not worried about, specifically talking or spending time with only people her age. She has now reached her daughter. She's reached other generations underneath her daughter. She's reached more than that. And now she's reaching even a brand new generation. They're just now learning how to read and write. And so go ahead and explain just a little bit.
Our mom actually bought one of her books that was teaching children how to journal. I believe. I don't know the exact name of it. But yeah, so our kids actually got it out last night and wanted to start working on it. And so it was really cool to see because it was about journaling while praying and that type of thing. And it was like, well, what if I don't really know what to say? What if I don't spell my words right? And I was like, well, Jesus already knows. So then it kind of led into, if Jesus already knows, why do we write it down? Why do we talk to him? So it kind of opened up a lot of things. But I actually have a picture to share because I took it.
I think you can share it.
Maybe.
Journaling for the soul is the adult ones.
Yes. Okay, so this is a picture of her. She actually wanted to pray about Max. She was really sad last night. But this was, and it showed different ways that you could draw about your prayer and take a picture and kind of write and stuff. And so, but it just, I don't know, opened up a lot of doors, and she was able to communicate more and realize, like, praying doesn't have to be just me sitting and, because she was like, I don't know what to say, tell me what to write. And I'm like, just whatever you want to say about, what you're writing about. Our dog, she missed our dog. So, but I think it was good because they're getting some of their feelings out that they normally wouldn't.
Yeah. And the whole idea is in order to how this really ties in here is being an example, doing something. And probably, whether she would be open to admit it or not, Cambry probably saw Emery doing this. And so even at the age of Emery, she's being an example to her younger sister of writing notes and taking those things and doing that. And so the idea is just that we need to be an example. Less about age. Forget about age. And that's what Paul is trying to tell Timothy. Don't worry about your age, whether you're young or you're or you're old or you're somewhere in between. Excuse me. It doesn't matter any of those types of things. What matters is that you are an example. And we need to not only set good examples for people, but I think it's also important that we get good examples in our own lives. And so those types of examples, because, we emulate and we start doing the things that those people around us are doing, and they are setting an example to us. And so if we're dealing with situations where there's a hard situation and you're grounded in Christ and you're grounded in Scripture and you're able to handle those situations better, you're now showing somebody else how to do that and what to do in those situations. When you go through pain and grief and dealing with things, there's an example to be to other people, so they know how to deal with that when they go through those situations. And so it's such an important remembering, just something to be reminded of, is that we need to be an example. And we need to really understand that our lives are examples. I was talking about this the other day with somebody, and I'm trying to remember who it was. Charles Barkley, NBA player, came out when he was playing or right after he was playing, and he made these comments about him not being a role model, right? Because parents were complaining because they're like, hey, you're acting bad on the court and you're a role model for my kids. And his response is, I'm not a role model, don't let your kids watch me. We don't really get to make that decision. Right. He's on national TV. He's getting paid lots of money. He's being interviewed. He's in front of everybody. You are a role model. And to understand that is that all of us, regardless of where we think we are in our lives, we are role models and we are examples, and we need to be a good example. Paul just quickly says the things that we need to be an example of is not only in our speech, but in our conduct. So not only what we talk about, but what we do. So it's not what we say, but just what we do in love and faith and in purity. So really just showcasing that.
Yeah, and we actually talked about that with the teens. I remember it's probably been a year or so because it was when we were in the other basement. But we talked about it with them and just kind of let them know like that even if they don't think they are, because a lot of times as a teenager you kind of, I don't know, you see where you're at. Like if you're not, like you think like, oh, I'm not, on a sports team, so I'm not up here. People look at them, they don't look at me. But we kind of brought it to them as in like kids look at you. Like kids don't know whether you're like if you're on a basketball team, if you're a jock, if you're this, if you're that, they don't know your social standing. They just know that you're a taller person.
Yep.
And you're really cool. And so we're trying to get them to understand that, like my kids, because I don't think you didn't have Susie yet, but anyways, so my kids, they thought some of the kids in the youth group were the coolest because whenever they'd walk by, they would call their name and just be like, Emery, hi, or what so and so, hi, and they just say whatever, and that like would make the kids' entire day. And it's hard to think about that because they're like, but I'm a nobody to the teenagers might think that, but like you're a somebody because
we saw that just a few
older.
weeks ago. So the kids normally sing and they do a great job singing and doing the stuff on stage. We love doing that on Fifth Sundays. It's always a great time. I had so many people come up and talk to us like, man, the kids just did phenomenal the last time they were on. Some of them knew why and some of them didn't.
Yeah.
What happened is that the teens in a youth group were doing the dance moves in the back of the auditorium. And the kids were just feeding off that example.
Mm-hmm.
The teens said, look, we're just going to have fun. We're going to do the dance moves. We're going to be crazy. We're going to be having a great time. And they did it behind everybody, right? They didn't bother anybody doing anything. But it put so much more energy into the kids. And they saw that as an example.
Yeah. It made them feel more comfortable.
It did.
Because, I mean, as a little kid, you're going up there and people are just staring at you and you feel all alone. And they quite a few of them came up and said it was nice. Like some of our younger kids, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they said that it was nice because they seemed so excited and so happy, so it helped them feel more comfortable.
And that's just that example. It's that mindset of having an example and showcasing an example. And it doesn't stop with just younger kids looking at the older kids. It's the younger adults looking at the older adults. Mm-hmm. And I think so many times the older adults start getting into this situation where they start to feel like they don't have an impact or they don't have a say-so or they don't have any of these types of things to offer, the people anymore. And that's so far from the truth. I know as a young parent, there are situations that I'm looking and I'm watching and I'm trying to see. I'm looking out into the crowd and going, who can I ask this question to? Who's showcasing a good example and who's leading the right thing, so that I can go on and ask them how to deal this, because I don't know how to do this situation.
Mm-hmm.
I've not dealt with this before. And yes, and just as much as I've had to accept that sometimes my kids don't want just me as their example, there are times where, and I've talked to my parents about this, that I would like somebody else, outside of them even, that tell me, they've been telling me, they tell me their things, mm-hmm. and I know that, and I love that example, and we're supposed to be that. But it's so nice to have all of these other examples. And so I just really want to challenge you guys today to be an example, to showcase that example, to being willing to be those people in other people's lives, of showcasing what the right thing is to do. Any other things to add there? So it's important. 1 Timothy 4:12, that's our verse for the day. Again, keep looking out for things on VBS. We're going to be promoting that a lot. Anna jumped on, so.
Hi, Anna. And Susie and Timothy.
Yeah, and Susie and Timothy. Because if we don't say hi to Susie and Timothy, they'll throw a fit, and they'll call me right after this and get mad at me. So, love you guys. You guys all have a great day. Bye.